host. Okay, good afternoon. Yeah. Are you already eat or not? Do you need coffee? Okay, let's begin the class today. Welcome to Entrepreneurial Marketing Seminar today. My name is Marcialia Hakim and I'm going to be your master ceremony for today's class. So we gathered to explore about entrepreneurial marketing with insight from our honorable speaker today, Prof. William Smith, lead faculty for entrepreneurship in Wisely Academy at Fulbright University in Vietnam. Okay, here also we have our Honorable Vice Dean Faculty of Social and Political Science, Prof. Dr. Benny Alexandri, and also Head of Postgraduate Business Administration Program, Dr. Anang Mafiadi, and also our moderator for today's event, Bapak Cecep Safaaltu Barka. Okay, all praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for allowing us to be here together to attend today's event. To begin, let us pause for a moment of reflection and gratitude, seeking blessing from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for our seminar and all participants. Okay, please pray started. Done. Okay, now please stand as we honor our nation by singing the Indonesian anthem. Following that, we will sing the hymn of Universitas Pajajaran. Please, every participant to be stand up.
Universitas kita Pajajaran tempat bernama insan abdi masyarakat pembina nusa bangsa Pajajaran lambang suci suci alma mater yang tercinta, tempat ilmu dan cita alma materku tercinta.
Okay, please be seated. Okay, to begin this seminar, we will welcome, to open the seminar, we will welcome our Vice Dean of Faculty Social and Political Science, Mr. Professor Benny Alexandri, to open the seminar. You may have it.
Yes. Good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You guys have a lunch yet? Yes. Coffee? Okay. Good afternoon, distinguished guest speakers, respected faculty members, and dear students. My honor and privilege to welcome all of you to this international guest lecture organized by Business Administration Program. Today's session focus on a highly relevant and timely topic, entrepreneurial marketing. And I'm thrilled to see so many enthusiasm, participants eager to learn and engage. In today rapidly evolving business environment, we traditionally rules of marketing are constantly being reshaped by entrepreneurial thinking. Entrepreneurial marketing is about embracing innovation, taking calculated risks, and creating value in ways that meet the ever-changing needs of customers. It is a powerful approach that combines creativity and strategy, enabling business to thrive in both local and global markets. We are incredibly fortunate to have an esteemed guest speaker today whose expertise and insight in this field will provide us with valuable perspective and practical example. I encourage everyone to take all advantage of this opportunity, engage in meaningful discussion, and ask questions that will deepen your understanding of this dynamic subject. I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude to our guest speaker, Professor William Schmidt. Professor, give applause from him, please. To taking the time to share his knowledge with us. Your presence and contribution to this event are greatly appreciated, and I am confident that your insight will be both inspiring and enlightening for our students. And I would like to introduce you to Pak Cecep. Please applause to Pak Cecep to become moderator today. Okay. Additionally, I would like to acknowledge and thanks to the organizing committee for their hard work and dedication in planning this event. Your effort in bringing together a diverse audience and facilitating international collaboration are commendable. Before we begin, let me emphasize that this lecture is more than just a learning session. It is an opportunity for us to broaden our horizon, challenge our perspective, and gain new knowledge that will be valuable to our academic journey and future career in business. With that, I warmly welcome all of you to this exciting session. I hope you find it enriching and insightful. Thank you very much. I wish all of you successful and engaging experience. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Prof. Benny Alexandri, for the welcome speech for this seminar. Okay, we step our main agenda to get a lecture about entrepreneur marketing, and this session will be moderated by Mr. Cecep Safaltul Barka as faculty member in Business Administration Department and Manager of Students and Alumni Affairs at Faculty Social and Political Science. For Mr. Cecep Safaltul Barka, you may have the floor.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Willem, before I introduce yourself to my audience, I would like to thank you for coming to our campus, our faculty, and also I would like to inform this our student. There are come 3 class. The first class from consumer behavior. Who have attend here? Feel free raise hand from consumer behavior class. Okay, thank you for coming. And the second one comes from IUP, International Program, Business Administration. Feel free for raise hand. Okay, thank you for coming. And also the third class from marketing class, yeah? Okay, feel free for raise hand. Okay, thank you for coming. And some of my friends, also my college, Miss Christine, and also Miss Bayu, Mr. Bayu, thank you for coming, and also Mr. Ivani. Okay, they have already learned about the marketing concept. So this is the interesting point. Once we enlarge our knowledge, the experience about your project, and also you can discuss with the expert who have come to our campus. Applause for Mr. William. Please welcome. Okay, thank you. I need to be informed that the experience that Mr. William has is lead faculty for entrepreneurship, Wisely Academy at Fulbright University, Vietnam for the full time. And also he is a consultant in Asian Development Bank, ADB, and also international faculty fellow, MIT Sloan School of Management, and assistant professor for Asia School of Business in collaboration with MIT Sloan, and also visiting professor in Asia. This is the great experience we can share about the concept or the practical marketing, not only in concept but the practice, and we will combine with the entrepreneurial mindset that we have known. Entrepreneurial is the essence of our study program. Okay, please welcome Mr. Smith. Stage is yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Pak Cecep.
Cecep,
Thank
yeah.
you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for your introduction. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Selamat tengah hari. Sudah makan, ya? Okay. Nama saya Willem. Hari ini, I would like to talk about the following. Indeed, entrepreneurial marketing and beyond, especially the adoption and application of digital technologies by startups. But before I do, I wish to give a little bit of a background of where I come from. Because I think very, very similar to many of us here, I am the first one in my family to go to university. Yes. By foremost, I am a father of this 13-year-old boy. He is here a ninja fighter, but he wants to be a veterinarian. His name is Pepijn. I'm actually training him to be a coconut farmer in Vietnam. That's where I live now. We have a coconut farm together with my fiancée and her daughter and this lovely dog, Bobby. So I am originally from Rotterdam. And as I said, many of you, maybe I'm the first one in my family to go to university. And I chose to go to a university near my hometown, Rotterdam. And for some reason, and I myself don't understand, but I end up here in Southeast Asia, in Saigon, in Ho Chi Minh City, which is a similar city as my hometown, Rotterdam. It's the harbor city, the commercial town of the country. So it's quite thriving, economically vibrant. But I didn't go here in a straight line. I think my walk through to here has been very entrepreneurial. Although I'm in an academic profession, I do create opportunities for this path over the world. I did my exchange at McGill in Canada. I finalized my studies, went to worked for a supermarket chain specialized in new product development. So did a lot of market research with consumer behavior, developing the new marketing for those products in coffee, but also in tea. Then I wanted to study more. I did my PhD, and I realized that academia was not really a thing for me. However, going back to business was no longer an option because nobody would hire a PhD in marketing. So instead, I found a school which combines a lot of practice and academia, and that is IMD in Switzerland. That was for me very transformative. That's where I learned how you can craft a learning experience actually with a classroom, so not the lecturer comes with a lot of knowledge, but actually the lecturer comes and facilitates the knowledge that is already present in the classroom, which is basically different pieces of knowledge structure that you put together as a jigsaw, and then that gives the class a better picture of a better overview of the domain. So that collaborative learning, with that collaborative learning in mind, I went to Singapore, went a bit to China for a semester, and then found out that MIT Sloan was together with the Central Bank of Malaysia setting up a business school. That is Asia School of Business. And that really fits my way of entrepreneurially building my academic career. I helped to co-found that school together with companies. Always actually learning from application and developing actually theories from application. I also teach in Switzerland and Berlin, ESMT and Imperial College, where I taught courses in marketing and entrepreneurship. Now I'm at Fulbright, and I design and deliver programs for the leadership initiative called YSEALI, which actually is for the whole region. And if you have the chance to apply on one of those programs offered by YSEALI, I warmly recommend you because it's a really great opportunity. So this is how I arrived in Vietnam, and I'm in the region. So back to the topic of today. I want to ask you first a question, and I'll be asking a lot from the audience because I want to co-create this session with you, okay? So in 2021, who was willing to take business risks during the pandemic? Ready? So we see that the pandemic caused economic lockdowns, which resulted in a massive decline in economic growth. And for more than 80% of the countries in the world, it was an instant depression. it was negative. It was negative growth per capita. Yeah. So who was willing to take business risks during this situation? So who had the economic courage and resilience to do that? Those were digital entrepreneurs. So those startups that really heavily employed, adapted, and applied digital technologies. And so what I'm sharing here today is actually research that I've been doing with Prof. Anang and the Asian Development Bank and 4 other schools in the region. And so I would like to ask you to say, I know this is a marketing course, but I think marketers can learn a lot from entrepreneurial mindset. Can I ask you, what do you understand of entrepreneurship? What ideas come to mind? So say a couple of words. Yeah? Yeah? Sales and running a business. Okay? Yeah? Right? Thanks. Good. Give me 5 other terms related to entrepreneurship. And it could be 5 different people, okay? Just contribute 1 term. Entrepreneurship. Shall I point? Do we do cold calling? Dan. The lady with the yellow drink cup, the yellow drinking bottle. Yeah? Just say 1 term. So we already have sales and running a business. Making profits. Okay, I like that. Very good. Yeah? Yes. Taking risks. Okay. Yeah. 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 That's very good. Yeah. So I like that you even go back to the origin of the word. Indeed, it is related to a French word, and entre is between actually, and preneur is like taking. So it's kind of mediating, kind of between from one to the other. Yeah. So it's a lot with trade to do, and I like that you mentioned risk as well. Very good. Yeah. So we have sales, running business, we have risk, we have profit. I like it. Okay. Can I have 1 or 2 more terms? A person totally on the back on his laptop at the hallway. Can you say something? Yeah, you, sir. You're looking up. What comes to mind when you think of entrepreneurship? Yeah. Okay. Ownership. Yeah. Own business. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. It's a lot of, I think, what they were mentioned before. You would like to add a new one? Edu? Edie? Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Or for making a profit. Yeah. Starting a business for making a profit. Yeah. Okay. Good. I think that we got the main core concepts. What I also wanted to hear was innovation, something new, adding to um, a new offering that doesn't exist yet, and solving problems of communities or of target audiences. So those digital entrepreneurs that were willing to take risk um, during the pandemic, who were they? And actually, they were not uh, the high school dropouts uh, that would make big uh, new digital platforms. The idea of entrepreneurs has been very much romanticized. Actually, entrepreneurs can be very close in our circle of friends and family. It could actually be a very average person that you meet in the mosque, at the temple, in the church, and it doesn't need to be doesn't need to be specifically a male. It is diversifying, and it is actually a much more, on average, about a 40 plus person who starts a business. So it counters that idea that the young entrepreneur is a school dropout, a rebel, etc. No, it is actually somebody that creates an opportunity and is supported also by its environment. And increasingly, it is not just one individual, a unique individual that goes against all the odds, but is actually somebody that works in a collective in different formations. And that's increasingly made possible by digital technologies. So we pursued this research together with the Asian Development Bank, and this is kind of the different phases that we saw in our sample. We collected a sample over 680 digital entrepreneurs, and it's quite interesting that the digital entrepreneurs are operating in a collective in changing formations because they have the digital infrastructure that is available. So cloud computing, but also co-working spaces, and sharing spaces, maker spaces. You see the platforms that provide options for digital entrepreneurs to launch their digital products or modules, and that is then, those are these artifacts, they smaller entities that interplay automatically with one another. So digital technologies have really changed the game for how to create businesses. It is much more fluid. It's not that you sit in the garage figuring out the product and making it perfect, then going to the supermarket chain and convincing the supermarket chain to launch it in the fourth week of March. No, it is much more fluid. That bits by bits, you introduce beta versions and you build, measure, learn, and improve. So it's much more. Furthermore, it's not so much one person that works on this, but it is much more a distributed activity in changing formations. That is so fascinating about the spirit of entrepreneurship changing thanks to digital technologies. So that also changes the way we deal with uncertainty. And I heard them mentioning risks, and later on I will come back to that difference between risk and uncertainty. But new digital technologies have transformed the nature of uncertainty that is inherent to the entrepreneurial processes and outcomes, and as well as the way we're dealing with such uncertainty. And so concretely, it means that we can build, measure, and learn in an iterative way to make smaller steps to improve our offerings and deal with uncertainty in a less risky way. So if we lose something, it's not much. So today, I would like to discuss with you on how these digital entrepreneurs have digitalized their business models for better performance. I would like to that you take away the learning that how can you distinguish risk from uncertainty, because it's actually different phenomena. And then lastly, I'd like, and I think most importantly, I want you to learn about an effective strategy on how to deal with true uncertainty. And those heuristics I apply in my academic work when I create a new research project or when I manage my career. So this is like, I think, a very powerful set of heuristics to think about in how you can shape your future. Okay? Are you with me? Yeah? So those three things I promise you today. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is research that we did with ADB. When I was at Asia School of Business, we had collaborated at SMU, Professor Anang at UNPAD, at Sassin, De La Salle in Manila, Vietnam in Tu Dao Mot, and Imperial College in London. So we wanted to test the following. What if when we apply digital technologies, and does that lead to a better performance? And is that actually, or not only about how we then apply it into our business model experimentation? So this is roughly the model that we wanted to test. So we took a sample size of close to 700 digital entrepreneurs, 114 here in Indonesia. And we asked them a really long questionnaire. Close to 200 variables. And Marcia, by the way, was also actually involved in the data collection, first-handedly, yes. So, and we wanted to measure how do you digitalize a business model? How do you digitalize a startup? Before I give you that question, I want to ask that to you. What are your first ideas? What are your first answers? How do you digitalize a business model? What are the dimensions of it? You're looking very smart. Yes, don't look away. You. What do you think? Huh? Yeah, using tools. Yes. AI tools, indeed. Yeah. So you use certain digital technologies. Yeah. So there's a bunch of variety of digital technologies available. And so the adoption is one of the parameters. Yeah. One of the dimensions of digitalization of startups. Another one. So what can you use it for? Those AI tools, for instance, or other technologies. I ask you. Yes, you. Yeah, indeed. You can do it on consumer facing. Yeah. Are there other ways we can use digital technology in other areas of the business maybe? Yeah? You? In marketplace, e-commerce, okay, yeah. All. So when I say front end, can we then think of activities on the back end of the business? Because I know you are marketing or focused, so you often think of customer-facing activities, rightly so. But there's also back-end of processes, right? I think the vice dean teaches finance, right? So for finance, we have also we can use digital technology, procurement, HR. So that we can also think of it in which domain do we apply it? Not only the variety of technologies, but also in which domain. And so that's how we conceptualize this business model digitalization. We looked at kind of the breadth of digital technology adoption. How many different technologies did we actually absorb into this startup? Then how much do we apply this in the different processes? And then I'm like you, I'm more focused on marketing. So I was curious about what is that added value to digital technologies, to customer facing, to the front end of the business model. Okay? So we asked this range of digital technology adoptions from mobile phones, fixed internet, company page, internet resources such as Trello, Slack, cloud computing, your own applications on the internet, mobile applications, AI technologies, machine learning, Internet of Things, augmented reality or VR, blockchain, and robotics and intelligent machinery. Yeah. So we basically asked the startups, how much do you rely on these technologies on a 1.5 score? And we got kind of this distribution. And we asked it in a different order, but I reordered it from the ones that they heavily, on an aggregate level, all the digital entrepreneurs together, how they rely on mobile phones and smartphones, to the ones that are rarely used in our sample. But I think it's a pretty, since the size is so big, pretty representative for the region. So you see that there is a bit of a break kind of here. There is kind of a jump, you could see. Like the ones above the line are kind of easy to adopt. You don't need a lot of specific IT skills to adopt it in your venture. But the others you may require talent that or your own capabilities to incorporate this in your startup. Yeah, true? Yeah, following me? Okay. So this is what we call the, so we take this measure as the Digital Technology Index. We count the amount of digital technologies that we heavily rely on. So if your digital technology is 1, it's mostly only mobile phones that you rely on. And if it's 12, you have ticked all the boxes on 4 to 5 scale, right? Okay? That's how we create this index. So that is one dimension of the startup digitalization. Okay? Then we look at the business model. May I see a show of hands? Have you seen this before? Yeah, Alexander and Pija, business model canvas? Yeah? I see nodding, okay, yeah. Okay, so we use this as a conceptualization for the areas. And we asked digital entrepreneurs to which extent have they applied these technologies in marketing and sales, in their products, in their value propositions, or in their back-end services. And then we took then these 4 measures. So on a 5-point scale, we found that overall the highest application of digital technologies is in the front end. Okay? We are excited, right? We're here in marketing class. We do a lot of marketing and we're powered by digital. Not so much at the back end for key partners, key activities. Yeah? Okay. So, oh yeah, this is a. So this is again how we measured this by the different scales. And so here, this is the one on for you the right hand side is the customer orientation items that we asked, and that is the customer facing one, the front end, and the rest we will conveniently combine into the back end. Okay. So those are the 3 dimensions we look at: the backbone digitalization versus the customer oriented digitalization. And then we look at the number of technologies adopted. So let's look at kind of how this relates to one another. We know that the descriptives, I gave you just the averages. Now I show you some plots to see how things relate, right? To give you an idea for the data. And sir, can you explain this graph to me based on what I just mentioned? Yeah, we have here on the axis, on the horizontal axis, we have the degree of the backbone. Remember, that's not customer facing. And here, customer facing. Do you see a pattern between them? So if I give you a pencil and ask you to draw a line of a pattern, do you see a pattern in here? Do you see a relationship between the 2 dimensions? It goes up a bit, right? Yeah, I agree. I agree. So it's very crowded in the bottom corner, the top right corner, right? But it's still a bit messy. There's also a lot of off diagonal. So you could also say, well, here this is the segment of startups that have very little digitalization. The other one is like they're digitalizing all the processes throughout their startup. Then here, these are the ones that only do the core. They do the product, they do the backbone, but not so much. Maybe that is the kind of the business to business people that want to have a digital service, but still need to sell it through face-to-face contact. While on these are the ones, the donuts, as I call them, there's a hole in the middle. So it appears to be digitalized, but when you look down under when you look under the hood, it's all analog, right? Okay. But I agree with you. There is a little bit of a line that goes up. If we compare the index versus the backbone, we see this pattern. Anybody want to comment on this? Sir, you in the red shirt? Yeah, can you explain the graph? So when you get to a question like this, just explain the graph first and then think of what the ultimate answer is, right? So here, this is the horizontal line. You see on the horizontal axis the index, so it's the number of technologies adopted by the startup. And then as that progresses, you see it kind of goes up. This is a box and whisker graph, meaning that this is the average, the line here, and the distribution of often the 25% or 50% around that average is within the box, and then this is the minimum, and that is the maximum. Okay, so you see that actually in the beginning the distribution is very wide and then it narrows, but there's also a relationship that you can see in the averages, right? The averages climb up. However, it kind of, there is a decreasing marginal returns, as we like to call it, right? So it goes up little by little. The extra after 6 and 7, there's not much to be gained on backbone digitalization. Kind of saturates. Okay, yeah. Fascinating, right? And so if we look at it from that front end, we don't see that. We see kind of a lot of differences in the beginning. So these are startups here that do not have adopted a lot of technologies. And here they have adopted all kinds of technologies, but their customer-oriented business model digitalization is roughly the same as the ones that do not adopt any technologies. Right? So there is no relationship between bivariately, right? Okay. Yeah. So we see different kind of interplay between the business, the technology adoption, the variety, and the application in the business processes. So oh yeah. Okay. Before I show this. So if you look at our method, we did a survey, right? Who did surveys before? Have you done a survey, performed surveys? Show of hands. Never performed a survey? Did you send questionnaires around, collect data? Sure you had, right? Yeah. So the problem with doing only survey data, or survey research, is that it is all your patterns are dependent on only one method. And if you want to discuss this with other academics, they say, well, there's common method bias, meaning that because you ask through instrument, one measurement, one method, it will be automatically, or there will be some correlation in it. Can you give us proof that your measurement is actually measuring what it's supposed to measure, not just a subjective data? So we did that. We went to look at the startups that we took the startups that said that they were low on this part, low on business model digitalization, for the top 30 that were high on business digitalization, and then we looked at their digital marketing performance in SEMrush. People know SEMrush here? SEMrush, SEO, search engine optimization. So basically, search engine optimization means that you can be easily found in search engines like Google, right? SEMrush is a digital marketing tool. It's a digital marketing tool that measures for you how well you're performing in that field. And the authority score, it means like, do people actually link back to your website and acknowledge you for how good you are as a service provider or as a product manufacturer. So if newspapers or maybe the government talks about you links to your website, your authority scores go up, and so you'll easily found on the internet, on your search engine. So we looked at, here you see authority score for the low digital business versus the high digital business, and then we see that there is a significant difference. So that gives us a cross-validation of our measurement. It was not only asking the digital entrepreneurs, but then we collected data that is rather objective on how their websites perform, and then we see clearly a difference between the two groups of businesses, the ones that do not digitalize versus the one that do. Okay? So then the question was that we wanted to look at the value of business model experimentation, and we looked at the way they have made changes to new products, adjustments, major changes. So we looked at the way they have made changes to their business model. And then we asked them to rate their business performance in terms of financial performance against expectations, operational performance against expectations, and also performance against peers. So we then see the following, that when you look at the number of technology versus the business performance, then we don't see much relationship. But if we go deeper and run multiple regression analysis, are you familiar with OLS? Okay, just basically we want to explain the business performance by looking at the variance in the application and adoption of digital technologies. So that is this set of variables. And then we look at the interactions. Then we see the following effect. That it's mainly direct effects from the direct facing digitalization of to customers and the backbone. Technology, number of technology doesn't really matter. However, it comes into play when we look at the interaction between backbone digitalization and the digital index, the technology index. And it gives an additional effect. Furthermore, we do find an effect that this is experimentation is actually helping to drive those three effects of customer facing, backbone, that interaction of backbone and technology. Especially backbone technology drives digitalization. So that makes the business model more agile, flexible. Yeah? So this is what we've done. We found these effects. So in summary, it's important to distinguish between advanced and elementary technologies to be adopted. It is that the technology is of secondary importance, but dependent on the backbone technology. And it's the application in business model is key. And then it's driven by experimentation. So now that I explained the research that we did on how digital entrepreneurs digitalize their businesses and how important the role is of experimentation and the different types of application, a backbone versus customer facing, I would like to focus on the next question on uncertainty versus risk. Because there is, I think, a confusion about that risk and uncertainty are the same. And it's actually with entrepreneurship and the application of digital technology, you can manage uncertainties pretty well. Okay, let me go back. And I borrow here from Frank Knight's typology on risk and uncertainty. Okay. Wait. Let me see. So in March, April 2020, all the economic lockdowns in the world, right? More than 80% of the countries experienced negative economic growth per capita, and so it went down like this. The question was, like, is this only temporary? Will this be like going flat for a long time? So people were trying to figure out, like, where would this go? Is this just an upswing that comes later? And will this disappear or will this last? So then there were different approaches on looking at this uncertainty. Some would say it is like a jar predicts the likelihood that it will bounce back. We have a history of 11 recessions since the Second World War, and they last about 9 months. So in 9 months, it'll be on average good again, right? So this is what we know as a knowable distribution. When you are blindfolded, you can, before you get blindfolded to draw a white ball out of this, you know what is the chance that you draw a white ball. Sir, no. Can I ask you, what is the chance that you draw a white ball out of this before I blindfold you? You can take a sample. What is the chance? Huh? 50%. Based on this small sample, you have an assessment now. And this would be looking at confidence indices of purchasing managers that are kind of seeing the economic development a little bit earlier than other people do. Then the last one, this comes out of it. So you draw all kinds of different things. And this is what we call an unknowable distribution. And this is what is true uncertainty. This is a situation, I think that was with Corona very true. It was impossible to predict. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs actually do when they start a business. It is impossible to predict the success of their venture. Their draw, they only do one draw. Right? They don't have multiple draws. They only do one draw. And so the way to manage this uncertainty is very different from the way we do often in marketing, trying to predict. So, I want to give you a mini case on a venture where I ask you to decide among small groups what to do next. And this is the situation. So this gives you an effective strategy to deal with true uncertainty. So it's the case of Niels Bergqvist, a Swedish mine engineer. He had a couple of other careers before he went to the north of Sweden, near Corona, to work in the ore mine. And he was first a boat captain, but he went to the north of Sweden because he loved skiing and rafting. He didn't like that very much, working in the mine, because he was a number and he saw a lot of other people just being there for their salary. It will show in the video as well. But outside of his work, he was doing rafting, skiing, and actually bringing the tourists that came to north of Sweden to his town on tours. And he liked that as an extra side business on the weekends. And that grew into a business. But in Sweden, it gets very cold in the winter, so everything closes down. So there's no new tourists coming. He only had tourists in the summer. So it's very seasonal. And since he started to do more of tourism and he eventually built a restaurant with full-time staff, he actually was keen to develop the tourism for the winter. So, but nobody was supportive of that idea because it was not done. The people don't come to the north of Sweden during the winter time. So he wanted to do something else. He looked at Alaska, where Japanese tourists went, and he contacted the Japanese tourist agency for Arctic tours. I'll give you a little video here. Can we do this? Yeah. But I want. Can you? Oh. Can you skip?
Welcome to the fifth in this 5-part series on effectuation. To help Welcome to the fifth in this 5-part series on effectuation. To help bring together the 4 principles we've already talked about in this series, I'd like to tell you a story. It's a story about a man named Ingvar Bergqvist. Ingvar grew up in the central part of Sweden, and when he was studying and getting an education, he learned about the environment, and he studied engineering. And when he graduated from school, he took a job at a large mining company in Kiruna, which is in the northern part of Sweden. And I'll let him start the rest of the story for you.
The most boring part of working in a mine company was that you have a number, my number, what do you call it, anställningsnummer,
Employee number.
Oh, okay. Employee number.
Yeah.
I had 3,717 or something, I think it was that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before your name. So they were calling me 3,717 Bergqvist, not my name. And I couldn't understand that. I was thinking of it often. So, and then when you are in such big company, you also see things like those guys there, they are mostly doing the tip on Fridays, and they were, they were not working. So during that time, I think if you have asked all the people in the mine company who are put up the hand, all who are working here, I think maybe half of them had put up the hand. The other, they were there. What I saw. So anyway, I felt that this is not my place.
During the 8 years Ingvar was working for the mining company, he did quite a bit of canoeing and river rafting. Soon he began taking tourists with him. He would wake up very early in the morning and go down to the tourist bureau to see if there was someone who wanted to go down the river. Almost every day there were people interested, and he began taking them with him on the river. What started out as a casual hobby began turning into a business with about 40 employees in the summer. As part of growing the tourist business, he also entered the restaurant business with full-time employees. However, the seasonality of the venture continued to nag at him.
We're trying to find out something for even for winter. But when I asked here locally what to do, they said that this is not an idea because Jukkasjärvi is too cold and too dark, and no reasonable person will go there, they said. And for me it was something else, because I like snow, I like skiing, I like cold climates is fresh for me. I like light. We have so beautiful light, so fantastic light, and even the northern light. And now we're gonna have the full moon, and I love that. I love skiing when it's full moon. It's fantastic. You can see your own shadow, and it's night. It's fantastic. All the time I see that and enjoy it. So, yeah, locally I didn't get any help for finding tourists during winter because the tourist office was closed during winter and they didn't believe on it. So I tried to find guests from other countries.
In his quest for finding something to do during the winter, Ingvar visited Alaska and Japan. In Hokkaido, Japan, he attended an ice festival and met the artist Aoki and invited him to come with Ingvar to Sweden. Aoki and other invited artists came and created a small workshop where they could show what they were doing working with ice. The workshop received a lot of press. About 14 artists, including locals, came to Jukkasjärvi on a Friday at the end of November and began working through the weekend, getting ready for an ice art exhibition scheduled for Monday. Local people also came and began taking photographs as the artists sculpted eagles and reindeer out of the ice Ingvar and his people cut from the frozen Turna River nearby. There was growing excitement at the beauty of the art, the skills of the sculptors, and the interest of all who stopped by. Ingvar describes that Sunday evening and what followed.
The evening was cold and clear, and I was working here. I had a family during that time. I started. So we were watching it. We were so impressed, so happy. It was so beautiful. People were photographing it all the time. Local people here in the village. And the next morning when I wake up at 6 o'clock, I heard something strange. I couldn't believe it, but it was raining. It was raining, and it was plus 7 degrees. It's true. I was making coffee, and I felt, what will happen with that ice? And our course started at 11. So when I came down here, two of my vaktmästare who were working here, they were standing with the press. They have above the ice arch, so it shouldn't rain on it. And they said, asked me, what shall we do? It's terrible weather. And this.
Okay, so it's terrible weather. He has the art exhibition about to start on the Monday. He wakes up in the morning at 6, makes coffee, and sees that it's plus 7 degrees. Everything is melting. All the ice structures are melting. And it's only, very early in the morning. So as the sun rises, it will only get warmer and warmer, and it's already 7 degrees. So his two of his colleagues come and ask him, what shall we do? Okay, I want you to think about what to do in this situation. There was no prediction that it would stop freezing, that the temperatures would rise above 0 and would start to melt all the structures. I want you to organize yourself in groups of 4 or 5 and think about what you would do. Okay, but before I give you this assignment again, I want to make sure we're all on the same page, right? Maybe it was not entirely clear what happened. So it is Nils who went to Japan and brought ice sculptures to Sweden to bring tourists to his place. He started an ice sculpting art exhibition, right? And so he brought over a couple of Japanese ice sculptors that were making beautiful structures. And so they worked all weekend in order for them to be ready on Monday when it was opened. He had arranged media, journalists, had announced it, advertised it, and tourists were coming that day to see the opening of this ice art exhibition. Yet, against all expectations, it's warm and everything is melting. Now, what would you do in a situation of Niels? You know what he has, so think about what is, make an inventory, make maybe on paper or discuss with each other. What are the available means? What are the resources he has available? And think about an idea what you could do, and then how would you manage that? How would you minimize the risk? How would you leverage any partnership? How would you then manage kind of unexpected situations, contingencies? Okay? Yeah? Shall I give you 10 minutes to discuss? Huh? And then I'm going to ask 3 groups randomly to present what your plan of action is, okay? Yeah? All right. Okay? You have until 2:40, right? I'm here if you want to ask questions. Happy to answer. There are 4 to 5. So the ones that are nearby, etc. But 3 is possible as well. Yeah? If you want to say, yeah, it's also possible.
Sorry, excuse me. Need to be informed that your presence in spouse ID was already open, so do not forget to input. Yeah.
Okay, time's up. Okay, I want to ask. Okay, I found 3 teams with a lot of confidence, with above average confidence in the class. So, good. I want to ask first this group here, what are you going to do?
Okay, hello everyone. So I just want to answer the question that I've been discussed with my friends. So what would we do if we were in that situations? First, maybe we could find the art exhibition is held in indoor area, and from the partnership side, we have to find some collaborate with companies that provide large scale cooling facilities. Yes. So the next is we have to predict the weather because maybe we the weather is not unpredictable. It's isn't predictable. So we have to forecasting for from the from the large scale.
Okay.
And then we have to operate the data. We operate the weather for like okay. Okay, the next one is we have to considerate about the scale of the things, the art.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can considerate the scale of the room too.
Okay. All right. So there was a couple of unknowns. Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay. In summary, you stay the course. You say, okay, I'm going to look at my partnerships. Who can provide me a big freezing fridge, right? And then I can put everything in there, and then we'll save the structures in that way. Okay. All right. All right. Others, thank you so much. Other had another idea, because it's a big assumption. These structures are really big, very heavy. Can we just, let's assume we cannot put them in the fridge, okay? What is an alternative scenario? Is there a group that had an alternative scenario than bridging the sculptures? Yeah? Can I ask you? They were very confident. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay,
So,
please stand up, share.
So I think the solution that comes from us regarding the number one will be using chemical tools such as like using salt or any liquid that could help them to keep the
Are you going to chemically treat the sculptures to preserve them? Is that your strategy?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm.
We only answered the number one, or
Yeah, you can can do others as well. Yeah.
for number two, we think about picking a partner for venue.
Or venue. Yeah.
The venue, we could use the indoor venue, not like outdoor.
Okay.
And then we could like do a partnership with some kind of vendor for free.
Fridges. Yeah. 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 Okay.
Yeah. So and then
To the local. The meat has to go out and the ice structures has to go in the fridge. But then you have to buy up all the meat. You have to buy up all the meat. What are you going to do with the meat, right? If you go to the booth,
The next
well,
one.
usually these big storages fridges are very full. Otherwise, they will not be used, right? I mean, it's big capacity. Yeah,
Should I keep going?
yeah, please.
Okay. The next one would be like the partnership with as what we mentioned before. We have to like prepare for some like chemical use.
Yeah,
So we have to do a partnership with like a company that provide that.
yeah.
And then for the last question, I think
Yeah.
we're not really ready to answer this, but one of the
So if
answer.
that doesn't work, what would you do then? So you cannot find this fridge and you cannot find this this chemical company if such a chemical solution exists. Because if you use salt, then melting will be accelerated, I think.
I think maybe we, we could postpone the
Postponing. Okay.
postpone the
No, we cannot postpone
oh,
either.
postpone. What do we do?
What do we do? Yes.
Um.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. No, thank you.
Okay,
I will. Can you give the microphone? Yeah. I want to hear one more solution. Okay. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Oh, there. Two solutions. I want to give two solutions. Yeah. You. And then they. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Assertiveness. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Please stand. So we don't do fridges, and we don't do chemical solutions. Okay. Yeah.
So from what I get from this case, the solution from us is a bit wild, I'd say.
Good.
Because in the morning, right, the ice start melting. Niels Bergqvist is about to, I don't know, say, making the event, right? Before before it start, the ice is start getting melting, right? And then from our ideas is change the direction of the concept, the art exhibition. So this is some like the ice carving art exhibition, right?
Yeah.
And then we change the direction into like controversial or earth. I don't know, like caring about the earth. Like,
Yeah.
we know about global pemanasan global, global warming. So we know about the global warming.
Yeah.
And then is making the concept to like the ice is like the earth. It is start getting melting because of the global warming.
Oh yeah.
So
You make it in an educational
yeah,
workshop. Yeah. Okay.
so we change the direction of the concept. We change the concept for the art exhibition, and then for the leverage partnerships, we can take some of the big medias to expose our controversial
You're
event.
gonna say the
to-
alarm bells, like, oh,
Yeah.
this is happening now too in global warming. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good point.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is all. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for having us to speak our discusses. Okay, so the first question is that how will you minimize the risk? So based on our discussion, before we knew the risk of it, we have to prevent to know the risk of it. Like the answer is that we used to. It's like we have to control the environment for the shipping before we knew that the ice will be melting. Like for example, for refrigerated, the shipping with partner with a logistic provider experiences in cold chain transportation.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
like
the sculptures are made there. You
Yeah.
don't need to do cold chain from Japan. It is there. They get it from the ice from the river
Yeah.
and then make sculptures there.
Yeah, for the control of the environment. So the ice not will be melting on the day for the exhibition. And then the first one how we'll minimize the risk is that the controlled environment for the shipping, and then specialized in salted containers and packaging. So we have to make the high quality insulated packaging, so for not making the ice will be melted in that day. And then how we'll as the leverage the partnership is actually we have a solution for it. The first one, we need the logistic and cold change partners. So partner with logistic companies. We need the specializing in transporting the perishable items, like companies experience in handling frozen items can provide the necessary infrastructure and expertise to keep the ice intact during transport and delivery. And then how we'll ask to manage the contingency when the ice will be melting. So based on that group, they changed the concept of the exhibition. But our tip is have the same way to change the concept to be like first the melting moments exhibit concept, but we have the virtual or augmented reality (VR) concept. So that
nice.
So
Alright.
so we have the VR technology to digitally recreate melting sculptures for later session. That's
Good.
our answer.
Oh yeah, so you basically take a photography of a picture of the original and then shows the difference how it melts versus how it was. Yeah, very
Yeah.
nice. Okay, I like it. Very good. So
Thank you.
yes, you're getting very close. I think if I would give you another 50 minutes, you would definitely build on that idea of changing the concept, because that is indeed the clue here. Don't stick to your original plan. Just take that new information of the environment into your new plans, and you have a lot of stakeholders coming to your event, and of course they have different expectations, but you can engage them in co-creating something else. And so what actually happened was that people coming to the exhibition, they saw it melting, but Niels and the artists, they started to say, okay, we can actually give workshops on how to do ice sculpting. So they brought the instead of a passive exhibition, they started giving workshops on ice crafting. So they brought in fresh new blocks to do ice sculpting, but also then people start saying, hey, actually I always wanted to build an igloo. Can we build an igloo? They started building big structures themselves, the ones that they wanted to have. And then people started saying, well, this is a nice igloo. Can I sleep in it tonight? And so this is the way, this is the reason or how the Ice Hotel was born. Every year in the north of
Northern
Sweden, they
Sweden in the
rebuild
dead of
the
winter.
Ice Hotel.
200
Sleep in
kilometers
that
north of the
hotel.
Arctic Circle. On a
And this is always co-created,
frozen river
or
Tuna,
it's thanks
the
to the
village of
co-creation
Jukkasjärvi,
of
home to the world's
of
first and
artists
largest
and
ice hotel. The photographer knows the place well. For years, she's worked here with creative artists and also developed her own projects. In 2013,
they
she
invite
published a volume of
still
photographs
interior
of the hotel.
designers, ice sculptors to create different rooms for the
For
hotel.
me,
And
the combination
every year the
between
hotel is
very
different.
friendly and warm people and the really cold environment of snow and ice, that combination, that creates magic. And I decided to make a book about it because I wanted to show the rest of the world what I feel, how much I feel for this place.
Each of the 56 rooms here is individually designed by a different artist, their work sent off by light designers. Only the mattresses and the
Isn't
reindeer
this amazing?
fur aren't made of
Right?
snow and ice.
So they changed the concept
Open
Through art
from mid-December
exhibition.
to mid-April, the
We're
hotel
gonna
draws about
use the
45,000
interest
day
of
trippers and
people to
15,000
learn about
overnight
ice
guests
and
every
ice
year.
sculpting, then do workshops, and then
The
you started to
architecture is
explore different
beautiful
interests that you
and
can actually
it's very
live
cold,
and stay in,
but it's nice. Yeah, I
in
like
ice
it.
hotel.
It was really
Close.
cool. It was super amazing. Our first
So,
time.
I will not show the whole video, but this is actually what it is. This is decision making, entrepreneurial decision making, as called effectuation, and this is about creating new products, markets in uncertain situations. So this is very different from the way we teach strategy in business school. I see, and I also am guilty of that when I teach marketing. I teach corporate strategy in the way that you start with a goal. Say, okay, this is the market size. I want to capture 25%. From history, I know that my budget needs to be like 2 million or something like that. $2 million to reach that. I develop different options. Should I do this in advertising or should I do promotion or my sales? So I start with calculating what are the expected returns for the different options. That's how I look at risk. I also see every other firm as a competitor. I don't like things that are changed, so I build what-if scenarios. I don't like surprises. And that is how I usually teach how I teach corporate strategy or marketing strategy, assuming that you can forecast the next stages of the environment. And then when you have an existing business, when you have traction, you can do that. There is a historical data stream. However, when you start a new business or when you are in true uncertainty, you have to start from what you are, who you are, what you have, who you know. You still have to start from your means and co-create based on the idea of, okay, what can I afford to lose? I'm not going to make big bets, but if I make maybe small little investments on things that I want that I can afford to lose, because I don't calculate what are the expected returns. I manage my affordable losses. And I do that typically with partners because they also can bring resources to the venture. And so if they bring in what you said, okay, a fridge, or the artists bring in their time for teaching, then I don't need to invest in that, right? So I minimize my affordable loss. I don't have big risk, and whatever changes I take these surprises as something of a gift, and I use to find I take this as ways to find new partners, and building on what I already have. So then the view of the future is to create, and so if you have that mindset, you're very resilient towards any things that has unexpectedly changed, uncertainty, right? So that's what I wanted to share. Okay, these are the examples. So, I did a study on corporate managers, an experiment with that, and then I see that corporate managers actually try to keep on predicting, even if they are faced with uncertainty. So that's quite interesting. But important for you to know that today we looked at how startups, how entrepreneurs digitalize their business models with adopting new technologies and using that in the various areas of the business model. That drives experimentation. We've learned about the difference between risk and uncertainty, and don't use this interchangeably. They are very different concepts. And when you're faced with uncertainty, use effectuation as an effective strategy to deal with that. And I think that is also for you as you graduate You enter a totally new, uncertain environment where you cannot do sampling, but you can only roll one dice. So count on your means, manage affordable loss, find partners, and take surprises as a gift. Okay? With that, I would like to thank you very much for this honor of giving you this lecture. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, nice insight for this afternoon. Thank you for Mr. Smith who have explained about the theoretical framework about the entrepreneur and how to stimulate the business model with the digitalization process, then influence the performance for business model. So I have a three gift from study program. Mr. You have still time for Q&A session. Okay. Okay, 3 person or 3 students who will contribute for asking something. Okay, you one first. Next, who else? Anyone else? 2. Okay. Next one. Plus. Okay, only 2. Okay, you. One. Stand up, please.
Speaking about uncertainties, uncertainties is something that we could not predict, right? But how do we like face that? How do we face the uncertainty? If we predict it from the first, it's not uncertainty, but risk. So my point is, how do we face uncertainty from the start? Yeah, running.
This one, sir.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for your question. I think the principles of effectuation are heuristics used or are discovered by studying how expert entrepreneurs think. And an expert entrepreneur is an entrepreneur who has successfully started a series of businesses for over 10 years. Expertise is a deliberate practice over 10 years of trying to do something, and it allow when you have an expertise, you're really good at recognizing patterns. So expert entrepreneur. So when the professor who found these effectual principles see as expert entrepreneurs, not what made them successful, because their success story is often filled with what we call hindsight bias. They kind of rationalize on how they got to be successful they post hoc rationalize their success. So they may forget actually the different struggles they had. So instead of asking them directly what made them successful, she gave them a task, like an opportunity, and then asked them to think it through out loud, and she transcribed their thinking and then compared that with how MBAs think. And then she discovered that these expert entrepreneurs have very different logic of creating a venture. That is not to focus on the goals, but much more to focus on the means. So who they are, what they have, who they know. And secondly, on seeing outside firms as partners or other actors as partners rather than competition. Then instead of kind of calculating the expected returns, the expert entrepreneurs, they focused on, okay, how can I actually minimize my loss, that I don't lose a lot on trying this out, but bring in partners that also contribute to the pool of resources to make it happen. And then their attitude to unexpected um, unexpected changes, they were much more like, okay, I can do something with that. I leverage those changes rather than taking effort on, okay, I'm going to close this down, I'm going to stop it, instead of avoiding these differences, these unexpected things. So these logics are found by asking people, expert entrepreneurs specifically, on how they create a venture. And so those are the 4 principles that are very different from the way we teach corporate strategy. So I would start, when you're faced with something uncertain, with those principles. What are your affordable losses, your partners, and the attitude towards unexpected changes?
Enough? Okay, thank you. Applause for the first explanation. And next, you, the second one. And also, I would like to invite the participant online, yeah, from PSDKU at this. Hello? Anyone to ask something else from student of PSDKU and also the class of 2024, yeah. Okay, do you hear me? Hi? Okay.
Pleased to meet you, sir. My name is Nabil. I want to ask a question about effectuation. So you explained that, from what I understood, the way they see the world, the effectuation and the causation, their paradigms are different. So it's different as in the essentials. So, and you, the entrepreneurs, you said in the effectuation principles, they see changes as potentials, not as something to be avoided. And I want to ask, how do we train our mindset to become those entrepreneurs? How do we train to think, to see those contingencies, to those unexpected uncertainties as chances rather than things to be avoided? That is basically my question.
Thank you. How do we train, sir?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. Instead of looking at things of probabilities, we can focus on possibilities. And indeed, I think in our academic training specifically, we learn to think of probabilities at risk and avoiding risk. So our first reaction to uncertainty is to avoid, to retract. And maybe in the first instance, your reaction is different. Maybe just take maybe an hour to think it through, kind of ask for a timeout, and then go through this exercise. Okay, what are my means? But who can I work on this? Who has another interest in co-creating to making this happen? What are the new possibilities? And so it is, my advice is, how can you train is by not responding too spontaneously, but maybe just time out and then thinking it through. Yeah. So much for this question. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so if you do this, then throughout the time you will train yourself to be more spontaneous in taking an effectual approach. I'm sure that you don't need to time out anymore, but then it becomes more a natural pattern.
Something like intuitive, like intuition. If we are used to that paradigm, let's say,
it becomes more a natural way of thinking. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Applause for the second explanation. Anyone else? Okay, you are the last. Because I have say hello to the audience in Zoom, but nobody raised hand.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. My question is how to maintain a balance between innovation and profitability in the business. Thank you. Innovation and profitability. Thank you.
Okay, that's a great question. Okay, so there is an assumption though in your question, is that innovation is at the cost of profit, right? Yeah, and it is all. And I think a lot of corporations actually also are faced with that. Is like, how much should I exploit? Reap short-term profits now, and at the same time still explore new opportunities. So it is actually also the question of how can I explore or exploit while exploring. So exploit existing opportunities and exploring new opportunities. And I think the best companies know how to balance that. So and know how to do this at the same time, and don't need to sacrifice it. Yeah.
Is it clear enough, Ms. Christine?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you. Applause for the third explanation. And I would like to invite three of participants who have asked the question for getting the special gift from our study program and take a photo with Mr. Smith. Okay.
Thank you so
Come on.
much.
Okay,
Can
please
give
come
the-
forward for the participant who already asked
Okay.
the question.
Okay.
You can. Okay, come on.
Yeah. Okay.
The first, the second, and next. Okay, take a photo. Okay, the second one. Still wait here. Okay, and the last one. Okay, still here. And you take the photo together. Okay.
Okay, now photos together. Yeah.
Okay.
Set up. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Yeah. Okay then. Oh yes, we will
With the class?
with the class also at the
Okay.
last session maybe
Okay.
or now.
Oh, right now. Okay.
Oh right now.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You just stand by here.
Okay,
And
we
take
will
selfie with the
have a
student.
photos
And
together
all of
with
the
Mr.
audience
Willem.
kindly
So
stand up, please.
everyone, please come forwards. Foto. Kamu foto.
Ya.
Foto. Apa? Di mana? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, everyone, please come forward. Oh, selfie. Selfie first. Okay, selfie first. Selfie first, everyone ready? 1, 2. Cheese, nice. Okay, nice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now
Okay, thank
the
you everyone. How about you
formal
can?
photos.
Okay, still back
Last
to
one
your seat.
from our side. The photos. Oh, we need photos again. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you. And back to Mrs. Marsa. Yeah.
And the other. Okay, everyone, please come forward. You can put your bag on the seat. Iya, ke depan semua.
Bu Kaprodi, Ibu Kadep, Pak Anang di
Di
depan.
depan aja. Ayo ke depan semuanya.
Baik semuanya dong ke sini.
Gak apa-apa, Pak Ruki. Ayo. Panggung. Okay, everyone, go to the stage to take photos. Okay, you can put your bag on the chair, on your seat, but then you can take a photo first.
Ke depan Bu semuanya. Ya. Baik, silakan ke depan.
Ke depan aja. Ayo, ayo.
Oke, quickly please.
Oke, maybe yang cowok-cowok di belakang. Oh, someone. Ini kneeling. Kneel. Berlutut, berlutut. Lihat. Yang cowok tolong berlutut di sini. Kamu kasih contoh Reza. Reza, sini Reza. Ayo yang lain. Kamu juga. Nah, gitu Reza. Sip, sip. Ayo yang lain. Kamu juga. Oke, someone in the behind. Siapa lah? Tolong ke belakang.
Boleh, siapa yang mau jongkok?
Gitu. Agak maju, agak maju, agak maju, agak maju. Agak maju, agak maju.
Bu Christine boleh dibantu di foto? Pak Ruki.
Yang operator foto juga aja nggak apa-apa. Oke, sudah semua aman? Ini Pak Ruki. Oke, maybe some of you di sini penuh, di situ penuh. Ya. Oke, ready semuanya.
Oke, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. You can sit on your chair. Okay, we have one more session ya Pak Cecep.
Ya.
Okay, we're not done yet ya. Tolong duduk kembali. Oke, mohon duduk kembali ya. Kita ada satu lagi momen. Okay, thank you so much for the honorable speaker, Mr. Professor Willem Smith. So we have our sovereignty from Faculty of Social and Political Science that will be given by Dr. Arianis Chan. Okay, thank you so much. So everyone, today is already done for the seminar. Thank you for the participation and your active for the sharing and everything. I think that's all from this seminar. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.